Say names.
Harry Matthews.
Connor Crawford.
Adam Richardson.
Kira Chapman.
Okay, so the question is do we think the arts should be publicly funded in this country?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, if you think about what the arts are an amazing thing, and all of the jobs that are in the arts. If you think about the jobs that are in the arts industry, there's 300,000 staff employed in music, performance and visual arts, and then there's also another 110,000 staff are employed in museums, galleries and libraries. So that's 410,000 totally employed, and many of them jobs will be lost without public funding.
Public funding actually comes down to the fact of how the government spends it. For example, architecture is apparently a type of art. It's not, it's construction. How does that form?
Well, the answer is there's lots of things that are in art. Well, architecture is art because it's actually it is in all the drawing of the plans. It's actually is a form of art.
No, it's not a form of art. It includes art. That's the whole point. The whole point of architecture is to build a building that's stable and will keep up. Adding art into it is only for a flair for, say, bigger buildings, because you only see bigger buildings, say the Sydney Opera House. You only see that built like once every 5 years, maybe. But when you include normal buildings, how do they design? They don't design. They just design normally. So it's only really for the bigger buildings and the more bigger projects that art is included.
I'm going to change the subject. One thing that's really good about public funding is that the possibility for renewal of the the money is known up front about it, whereas if it's private, then they can quite easily just stop it when they want, which means that the funding that they're giving will have to stop, and therefore stop the...
Yeah, the thing is we should stop it because that funding is actually our taxpayer money.
Yes, but what would you have this money spent on then?
Well, I prefer to have it spent on things such as the NHS defence budget, maybe the social
Yeah,
education
but there
budget.
is money in the
Well,
NHS.
There's a lot of money in that. There's 95.6 billion in the NHS. There's in the defence there's 34.3 billion, and then in the education there's 42.7 billion. 1.1 billion as a percentage is so much smaller. What really is that going to do?
Then why don't you go tell that to the people that are in hospitals not able to get their care they want, because that
Well,
1.1 billion hasn't been spent on getting them the help
My
they need.
answer is, but a lot of these people in hospitals that we are caring for are causing illness for themselves. Think about smokers. Cigarettes. They're really expensive. They are really expensive. Let me find mine. It's about £8.74 for a packet of 20 cigarettes. And this costs the government a fortune on the NHS. Just think, if the smokers were to invest some of this money back into the NHS, you'd have even more than if they were to be spending it on cigarettes.
Yes, but it's facts, things like tobacco and alcohol are what bring this country in their revenue. Buying things like for trade and import and export, that 1.1 billion gets a lot of cigarettes and a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, but okay, so you're just changing your whole thing there. What you're trying to say is about the NHS, and I agree that the NHS is a massive part of why this country works, but that's now being cut. The NHS is going privatised, so therefore your point is invalid now, because whether we spend the money on the NHS or not is not going to matter, because it's not going to come out of us. We're still going to have to pay to get our treatments, and also A&E see so many people a day, and 1/3 of them actually need to be there. Others are drunks, others are people that have fallen over, people that have headaches. They could easily go to the GP about it. It's stupidity that makes the funding that you think is it not important. It's stupidity.
Right then, you want to talk about stupidity, how about things such as ballet and opera? Those are becoming obsolete.
Are you joking? It's culture.
It's not.
Oh,
It is
culture's recorded, basically. You don't have to keep it. If you record culture in that, it's there and it's fine. Yeah, you can redo it, but you don't have to keep investing money into it.
But say, we have CDs, we have writing, we have printed music,
But
goddammit.
say that if people said that about animals, you don't have to invest money in saving animals, then we would have no more animals, and then everyone would forget what they look like, and in 100 years' time, they wouldn't know what a tiger looks like. That's why ballet is around. That's why theatre is
No,
around.
they would know what a tiger looks like because of the recording, because you can take pictures and videos and stuff, and even if that, with the advancements of science, you can record the genes.
It's not
of all
the same,
animals,
though, is it?
And then you'll be able to clone them later on in the future with more science.
It's not the same having a picture of it. A picture. What's a picture? What's a video?
Yes,
It's
but
nothing.
What's the difference
You-
between it being in a zoo behind a glass cage? That's
Think-
just walking
but-
around in a circle. That's
What are we
it.
talking about?
Just think about all the people. Well, we're not talking about animals here. Think about performance.
Well, it's
think
the fact
about all
we're
the
trying-
jobs that will be
We're
lost.
trying to discuss the
in
fact
the
that
thing.
It's but
this
what-
money
this
going.
sort of
What's the
industry.
difference between watching an opera live and then listening to it instead?
Well, the answer is you watch it live. You've got all that experience. There's the atmosphere. You don't get that when you're just watching it on your laptop at home or on your television. You don't get that. You don't get that environment, that experience. And
Yeah.
remember,
Adam,
arts
Adam,
don't just.
Kira?
That funds with public funding will be available to a wider range of organisations, profitable and non-profitable, which means that underprivileged kids and underprivileged families can experience the same as what the Prime Minister can. That's why public funding is good, because everyone gets the same opportunity to experience culture and living and having that opportunity to excel in something. Being good at drama, you'll always be born with a talent. It's that if you make it private, not as many people will be able to access it, which means that those people will go into mediocre jobs, and then the depression rate will go skyrocketing up, because then they won't actually have a purpose for their life.
The people who work in the arts.
You want to
they
start
might-
getting on topics of depression. Depression has been falling by 33% per year.
just.
Because of public funding.
No, it's actually because of things like recreational sports.
Okay,
Believe it
and
or
is
Yeah,
that,
but that
and is
comes
that
under
public
the
funding?
funding.
Is
That comes
public
under the
funding?
public
Or
funding.
do you pay for that? Do you pay for that yourself? No, exactly. Public funding. Boom.
Comes under the
That's not
Department
public
of
funding
Culture,
of
Media
the
and
arts,
Sport.
is it?
But it's public funding.
It's not
Your
public
argument-
funding of the arts.
We're talking about arts, not sport. Thank you very
No,
much.
folks, just to point out that saying things louder do not make them more accurate, both sides.
Nobody gets them to listen.
Not necessarily.
It doesn't, because I'm just
Okay.
blocking out.
Connor?
Yes.
You were going to
You'll
say
say.
something.
Public arts spending in London is 15 times greater than outside the capital. Public spending arts is heavily skewed towards London. When people in the capital benefit from tuning like 69 pounds per head in London, that's how much they'll probably earn if they work in London, compared to £4.58 in England, like in other regions and stuff like that. So public funding is a lot more oriented towards London, where it's
Home of the rich.
home of the rich.
Yes, but
So a
you
good
think
question.
about-
I mean, that's a good question. Think about what Connor's saying there. What he's saying is that, yeah, getting public funding, but it's actually just going to things that rich people want to do.
But say, believe it or not, people outside, say people up north, like the north, not quite, place like Norwich, for example.
How are they going to be able to get down here and afford to go see such ballets and operas?
Well, there is not. You're saying that,
Touring
sure.
companies.
A lot goes to London. I agree, but there's a lot going all everywhere. There's a lot of projects that go to small places. There's lots of small villages. You get funding to have a performance in their village hall. You won't get that without the arts funding. The private people, if it's privately funded, all they care about is profit, 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 and you lose that. You lose that effect that you can get from some of the smaller places that they take things and.
Yeah, but those private businesses, they're more, because you say they're so focused on profit, they are more geared to put on a better performance to get more profit, because they know if they get a good performance, they're going to be able to get more crowds. More crowds means more money.
Yes, but not everything's about money in this world. Think about the small village. So the arts funding take a performance of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet to a small village. There's not enough people there to cover the cost. But what they are getting is they're getting that opportunity, that great experience. And who cares about the money? Because sometimes it's not fair. It's discrimination not offering it to smaller places.
It's not discrimination, it's the fact they can't afford it. That's not our problem, that's theirs.
Good. Okay. Final points then, people. One each. Okay. So just final point for your argument. Okay, Harry, sum up.
Well, to be honest, the 1.1 billion could actually make a rather drastic change in places such as health and education.
Okay. Thank you, Connor.
Well, until public funding is more focused, like all over, instead of just focused in one place like London, then it's not going to go anywhere.
Do the people sitting around this table actually want a job in the industry? Just think, you spent 2 years on this course. You're going to spend 2 years on this course. Are you actually wanting a job at the end of this? Because the chances are your job's going to be public funded. So why are you losing that opportunity for your job?
Okay, thank you. And final point for Gareth.
That public grants usually offer larger sums of money, which means that more opportunities and more opportunities for underprivileged kids can be given, which means that it will give a better and bigger start in their life.
Thank you.